First and foremost, you would be hard-pressed to sonically beat this console.
When I was hired to mix this show, I immediately went to work with Sweetwater to develop the audio for the show and what platforms we were going to use. I was approached by several console manufacturers to use their consoles. And the two other options we looked at, there was price point, which is always an issue nowadays. And the second factor is reliability. And the third final factor is the ergonomics, the workflow, the control surface. All three of those factors always brought us back to the Studer. And the decision on that was made was really brought home when I opened up the faders and started listening to the microphones. It really phenomenally, the very first show we did with a live audience and we're on the air, we came out of black and I opened up the audience and it's like, you know, that's how I want it to sound.
When they designed this, somebody really sat there and said, you know, how do we go make this so it makes sense to the operator, to the people that are going to be using them under pressure. There's a system, and once you wrap your mind around that, it's very, it's easy.
It's all about change and dealing with change. I can build this console to do 100 different things. Whether I'm mixing a band today and I need just a whole bunch of mono inputs, or I'm going off to do a big award show and I need so many monos and I need so many stereos and it's a 5-1 show, but I need the stereo down mixes and all the rest of it. I can build the desk in any configuration I need to do whatever show I've got to do.
I remember piecing things together to make something work. I remember going on the air with very limited equipment, live shows, where you had to do hot switches and things like that for during a 2-minute commercial break, and then cross your fingers that it that it was going to work. But nowadays, we have basically unlimited resources. Not only that, but the fact that you can tailor the console. If you know what the project is that you're going to be doing, you can build the console, you can tailor it to be more friendly to what you're trying to do than not. So it's just, I don't know where to begin to tell you how different it is. I wouldn't want to go back, I'll tell you that much.
What I look for in a control surface on a console is intuitiveness, the ease of operation. With the evolution of digital consoles, the mindset, is it a recording console? Is it a broadcast console? Is it a PA console? Slowly but surely, the console manufacturers, in my mind, have started evolving into a commonality of platforms, so to speak. Studer has come as far as anybody, if not further, in trying to get the ergonomics of a console, a digital console, so that it applies to all the different disciplines that you need a console for, the broadcast, the PA, the recording, the post-production, so on and so forth.
There are things that come built into the console that are the other manufacturers don't even offer, and one of them is you store your console settings in what ends up being a snapshot, and you can. And this applies to people, for example, that work on a theater production or something that is identical from day to day. So you can set up your snapshots and follow either a script or a time code or a clock of some sort. And you can program the cue list on the console and to go from snapshot to snapshot to snapshot and follow the stage cues, basically. And there's nobody else that'll do that.
I started using Studer consoles about 6 years ago. I was asked by Harman to be involved in the, I guess it was the debut of the Vista 8, and I had never worked on the console before. And at that time I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced cheese in mixing.
This console is so simple to use that It's really, really important that I don't have to sit down every other day and train somebody how to use this console, because I have so many other things to do. And now that we're at the point where, here, new user, 10, 15 minutes. Oh yeah, this is pretty easy. Okay, well, if you call me, if you need me, just call me, I'll be over there. Huge.
Their consoles are very evolutionary. This is basically, if you were to go under all the beautiful surface and all the lights, the technology goes back to the original 950s, which are the original Studer digital consoles. So, and what you get by that, you get an evolutionary process of quality. So what we have here is a development of many years of engineering that have brought this console to the operation and the sound quality that it has.
Right away, the Vistonics. It's right there, it's right in front of you. And it's color coded, so no matter where you are on whatever layer, input, output, green is compression, red is EQ, and yellow is pan. If you can do one, you can do 100.
The Vistonics, especially for this type of show, where segment to segment within the show, I have different guests coming in on different microphones. I've got 20 lavaliers on this show, and I'll be constantly changing out the footprint of the console, so to speak, on the faders, and I'll be shuffling faders to the lower surface. I build scenes where I'm able to go segment to segment with the microphones coming up at the right place and the right time of the right scene. Not a lot of consoles have that capability, and the ease of how you do it with the screen and the trackball is a feature that I really like with this console.
One classic example of that is the MTV VMA pre-show. It's almost a given now that they can't do this show without this console, because there's so much going on during that show that this thing gets configured 6 ways to Sunday to do what they need to do. On any given year, it's 7 shows that come out of this truck. It's the pre-show, it's the post-show, MTV News. They have an online website now that we feed. There's a Twitter thing that we feed, and it just grows and grows and grows, and it all comes out of here. I can't even comprehend, honestly, doing that show without this thing.
It's Studer. The name Studer alone has the quality that engineers have known for years, going back to their tape machine days, to the applications and the sonic quality of the console nowadays.
In the high-profile environment that we live in, it was all about how good does it sound, is it reliable, and how easy is it to use.